Hey guys, now in today's video we're going to take a look at the Laser Pecker 5. This is a dual laser engraver, fiber and diode. We're going to start with our unboxing, we're then going to take a first look, and we're going to run a couple engravings. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now the packaging for the Laser Pecker 5 Deluxe is very impressive and is very secure. As you can see here, this is what the actual packaging will look like when you receive your Laser Pecker if you do get the Deluxe version. The Deluxe version includes the 20-watt fiber, and then it also includes the slider that you see here and the rotary, including the protective shield. It does not include the larger enclosure. And at first glance, when you look at this box, you're immediately going to say, this really looks like the predecessor Laser Pecker. And I'd say that there are things that are similar, but there's a lot that is different with this one, especially because we're talking about a 20-watt fiber and diode laser combined. So let me show you what you can expect during the unboxing experience, and we'll follow up with other videos on actual engraving. Now the Laser Pecker 5 is enclosed in what I would consider sturdy foam. It's not going to be the lightweight foam. This thing, as you can see as I press it, is going to be very sturdy. It's going to be very protective for your Laser Pecker. And everything is almost like if it was a layered cake. First layer, you're going to find your base plate. So this is your base plate, just like you saw with the Laser Pecker 4. And this is your engravable area, right? And all the screws here that you can engrave or have those little corner L's. They're going to help you with the lining of the different products that you'd like to engrave. The first thing that you'll notice is that this is a full plate. There's nothing separate from this. Everything is one solid piece. So we'll go ahead and take this layer and we'll move this over to the side. Now, what you have here is a couple accessories that you can expect. First of all, and I'll pull this out, just says if you've received, maybe some of the other Laser Peckers in the past, this is your rotary extension parts, right? You have here for your rotary, right? So this is going to be that piece that you normally use for as you're raising and lowering, let's say a bottle or anything that you're going to be engraving. So that's found here. You then also have here your rotary, and that's what the rotary would look like. And basically you're going to connect all your teeth to it, the actual claws. And the cool thing about the Laser Pecker type rotaries, and I have some other lasers that I have reviewed, is that I do like the fact that it is one that you can actually change the position. So not only is it suitable for engraving this way, but as you turn it up like this, you can engrave something vertically as well. So I really like how that's positioned. Now, let's see what else we have in here. You then also have, and we'll put this in an angle because there's some other pieces here. These are all the pieces that you would expect for the slider, right? So, and again, all the rails associated with the slider. So we'll move this one to the side. All right. Here you have your AC cord, your power adapter, and I want to show you the power adapter because the power adapter is robust. I think it just feels like it's much larger than the previous generation from a weight perspective, and that must be due to the power. So the power output on this is of 180 watts. So we'll go ahead and put that at an angle so you can see that right there. So this is obviously to be able to support the 20-watt laser. Feels a lot more powerful. The adapter here looks pretty much the same as the previous generation, but I found as soon as I grabbed the box, I felt that, wow, this thing, it feels substantial compared to the previous generation. You have here the actual power cord, and depending on what country you're in, you're going to get different cords, right? We have glasses. Let's see if the glasses have changed much, right? And I say that because, now we're dealing with two different laser source types. And you can see this is what the glasses look like. And this is going to be protective for both laser types because we do have a much more powerful diode and also more powerful, I would say, fiber laser. You have your traditional set of USB cables, right? So if you're wondering, do you have as many as you had before? The answer is yes. So pretty traditional, right? So you have all these different cables that are color-coded for your Laser Pecker. You have for the fan, for the laser, for the lift, all that stuff is pretty standard. That hasn't really changed. And then also what you have in here are those L brackets that I was referring to, for the base plate. And then you have some really nice gold color actual, again, screws that you'll be able to use. And one of the things I've already started doing is designing some jigs that are going to allow you to expand the actual usage of the laser. And I'll show you what that would look like and how it fits on the base plate as we're going through this unboxing. We have then, obviously, this is what you would use on the back of this cone, right? You have, again, your hose over here, and this is just like the Laser Pecker 4. It includes this little box that has all the screws, right, that you'll need to tie to screw in. And you'll notice for the electrical stand, for the slide extension, for the headstock base plate, for the jaws, right, has everything you need here that you'll be able to use. So I like the way that this is so well organized, and you can see how much confidence you have in the packaging and receiving your product. Now, the other thing you have here, and I've already seen questions about this, is the actual hood. And remember, there are two hood types. There's one that's a full enclosure, just like the Laser Pecker 4 has, that you could get the extra square enclosure. And then you basically have this one right here that basically has this kind of shape. And I've already seen some questions regarding, is there a door? Does this open? And the answer is yes, it does come off. So you can do something like this if you'd like to. I don't know why I would do this yet, but if you wanted to just open this up and leave this exposed, you could, or you could close it, right? And it's not magnetic, it just snaps into place just like this. So you can see how that works. Again, comes out, goes back in. For those of you who are curious to see what the inside looks like, you have your fan, and then over here, let me see if that light will show up. You'll notice that there's some electronics here. So I would guess that, I would expect that there's going to be some type of sensors or LED lighting there. I haven't turned this on yet. So you're going through this with me as I am learning about the product. So we'll learn more as we power this guy up. So we have these pieces here. So I'm going to move this over, put this over here so you can see kind of like my cake analogy. And now we're getting to the good stuff. This laser head is big. This laser head is also heavy. So here you have your bar right here, right? And this is substantial, guys. This is much bigger. So some have been asking me, how does it compare to the Laser Pecker 4? Definitely larger than the 2, and it feels more robust than the Laser Pecker 4, right? So we've seen this, and now this is where I want to say this is gargantuan in size. So we're going to go ahead and take this out. Let's see if I can take it out. And this is tricky because of the weight. It's heavy. It's just heavy because of the laser. And this is the laser module. Check that out. This is pretty big. I don't have really large hands, but just want to give you kind of like a sense of scale, right? Or you can see this way. It is big, and you can see it has some really significant venting on both sides. On the bottom, you can see what your laser source looks like. You can see here the cap and your laser, right? And you can put that back on right there. Screws, everything that goes on. And remember, one of the things I like about this model is that it has both lasers. It also has real-time, I would say, tracking of what your laser positioning. So when you want to do a frame, it's not just a square, but you'll also get the shapes really nicely on whatever you're going to be engraving. And then in the back, for those of you who are curious about what this looks like, there we go. There is the back, and you can see all the USB ports that you have, your PC connection, again, as you would expect, which also makes this really unique because, again, while this is a 20-watt fiber laser and a diode laser, this is an extra portable. Now, one of the things I will say, right, I work out too. This is hard to hold this way. There's so much weight here that I don't know if you can see the tension here on my wrist. There's a lot of tension here going on. This is a very robust laser head. So would you be able to hold it and engrave something like this? Maybe there are people there that are strong and very, can keep their hands very sturdy. I can't do it. But the neat thing about this is that because of how the design is for the Laser Pecker, you can put it in different angles. So if you put it somewhere and you want to engrave this way, you can do that. But again, just wanted to show you that. The top, I think, has a great look to it. Let me put this in an angle so you can see that right there. I love the fire button is in red, fire. You have your pause. The one thing that you'll notice that is missing, and I just noticed this too, is the display. Oh my God, I love that display. But you'll notice that the display isn't here. Wow, I wonder why they did away with that. So there's no little display. Remember the one that would tell you like which laser is being fired and giving you all that nice information. So there's no physical display there. You do have an LED there. We'll have to light this up once we light this up and see if there's anything else. But I don't see any display. So that is a change. And I think that's pretty much it. Here's some other things that came in here. I wanted to show you this one. We've seen this before, right? So this is, again, the base plate. We've seen this with every generation. And I'm going to go ahead and bring the base plate back into view, and I'm going to show you what we'll be using during our reviews to just make sure that everything is aligned. And I think, is there anything in here? It just feels like there's maybe something in here. I guess, oh, no, there is or there isn't. Let's see. Yeah, there is. Inside the bag, there's a cleaning cloth. So keep an eye out for that, because you'll definitely want that to keep your glasses clean. So a lot of cool accessories, a lot of things here. We'll go ahead and put this back on top, and let's look at the base plate. So now the base plate, one of the things that I put together that we're going to be using during this review is I went ahead and designed, because of the fiber source, I'm kind of one of those guys that doesn't like to get this plate marked up. And I find that white material basically is very laser friendly when it comes to marking. And what I tend to do with many of my fibers is, just because just my personality, is I'll put one of these guys down as I'm engraving. Now, this is not going to do it incredibly well when it comes to heat. Like, this is not for deflecting the heat in any way. So if you have a lot of heat, that's not going to be something that you would do or use it for. But if you're just doing normal engraving, you know, that's something, this is something that I put on, and you'll see me using this a lot. And then also, you know, what I'll be using is this jig, because I design a lot of jigs that I'm going to be using as we're going to be engraving different metals and different things like this. All right, guys, so we have the Laser Pecker 5 fully assembled, and I wanted to go over some of the components so that you can get a better sense of what you can expect. One of the biggest questions I've gotten so far on the Laser Pecker 5 is, how does it compare to the Laser Pecker 4? And there have been two areas of focus. One is the actual engravable area, and two is how large is the laser module compared to the 4. So first of all, let's take a look at this. So we'll get this out of the way. This is the Laser Pecker 4 engrave area, right? And if I were to put it right here, right on top of the Laser Pecker 5, you can see that it's slightly bigger in comparison. So that's the first thing I just wanted to answer. The second thing is, how big is the actual laser module? Now, here is our Laser Pecker 4 module, and you can see it right here. And how does it compare? Well, check this out. Here's the Laser Pecker 5, and this is the baby. This is how big of a difference it is. This thing is massive in comparison. Here you go, side by side. So a lot more going on here than you have going on here, but this is a size comparison. Now here's another view. Here's the front on this side, very similar. And for those of you who want to see the back side, here you can see what one looks like compared to the other. Still, again, much, much larger in comparison. Now, other components that we want to take a look at. The slider. The slider itself, as I take a look at the slider, they seem to be the exact same size as the slider for the 4, right? I put them side by side, and they feel to be the same size. Now, the next thing we'll take a look at is the actual rotary. And what I like about the rotary, and this is something that I find unique with the Laser Pecker lineup, is the fact that not only can you engrave things in this direction, but you can engrave things in this direction. So you can rotate it. And that hasn't changed with this. You do have a rotating knob here that allows you to change the rotation of the laser so that you can actually have it pointing downward and pointing this way if you'd like. So you have that optionality. You still have this guiding system here for your rotary that's going to allow you to raise and lower. So if you can adjust, if you have a long object that you're looking to engrave, you'll be able to have it rested here and work with the alignment so that the chuck itself is not doing all the work. Now, before going to the back of the laser, the other question that I've seen is the front faceplate removable? The front faceplate is removable. And one of the cool things about the front face plate is that you'll see right here is that it has magnets. So these magnets are going to allow you to really easily just snap it into place, and that's all there is to it. Now, the one thing I will say is that there is a larger box that will be available with the Laser Pecker 5. I don't have one yet. That's actually my preferred setup because I find that with this cone, you basically lose some area here. And as you go down, I'll show you what I mean. Now, as we look at the actual bottom area, everything still works the same. If you press the button and you hold it for a couple seconds, the actual laser will lower itself slowly until it reaches the actual end position here on the bottom. You'll be able to stop it by just tapping one of the buttons. Now we have the cone completely down, and you can see that you do lose some engravable area with the cone down. And if I were to put a slate here, you'll notice that really the area that you have to work with is the size of a slate, maybe a little bit more, a little bit to the sides and to the back. Definitely you have more length if you're going this way, but I think that you lose a lot just having the cone by itself. Now keep in mind, you can remove the cone. You don't need this cone in place as long as you're wearing the safety glasses to do the engraving. But once again, this is why I prefer the larger box when it comes to the actual setup itself. Now on the top of the laser, you do have a couple of buttons. You have a frame button, a pause button, and then you have an emergency stop button. These are the functions. You do lose the ability to see the actual LCD screen that will show you the type of laser that's being fired and giving you some details. That's gone. All you have are these three functions. Now, one other thing I wanted to highlight is how much white noise is being generated by the laser. So the laser itself is on. You can see the light is flashing. By the way, this is now both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, no dongle required, so that's all included. But what you have going on here is you do have a cooling system now because of the more powerful laser, and it does generate some white noise. So let me go ahead and put it right next to it so you can see how much white noise is being generated. So that's going to be a little bit louder than probably what you're used to. Now on the back, you'll notice that we do have some familiar ports. You have multiple USB ports that are going to power the lift. It's going to power your actual slider and your rotary. You also then notice that you have a computer in there as well. You also have a security key, and this security key is required for you to be able to start up the laser. You do get two security keys, so if you do misplace one, you'll be able to get it. You have your power connection as well. So again, very similar setup from what you had previously. And again, this one has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in, no dongle required. All right, so I have the enclosure removed so you guys can see what's going on here, how the actual smoke is being sucked through the exhaust area in the back. I am using the Laser Pecker extractor, or the actual smoke eater, and that's working out really well. This is going to give you a sense of how fast it is to engrave wood. 3 wood keychains being engraved incredibly fast. This is selling at 4K, 40 power, 40 depth, and you can see how well this thing is engraving. And we'll see what the quality looks like in a couple seconds. I'll go ahead and put the shield back on, and we'll just let it run. All right, that was complete. Let's go ahead and remove the shield so you can see what it looks like. I did create some jigs that are going to help me with alignment. So I have a jig that's connected to the base, and then I have a jig that allows me to align these key rings or these keychains. And you can see right here what this looks like. Man, that looks good. Nice and dark. Look at that. Love it. Fantastic. I know many of you want to see the IR laser, the fiber laser running. So we're going to run in a fiber engrave on stainless steel. Power settings are going to be set at 45 power, 45 depth. The frequency is 26, and we'll see how this runs. Now, while this is running, I just want to let you guys know that the power consumption is around 96 watts. So I have both the laser Pecker running. I have the smoke eater on the side that you see right here running, and the engraving happening at the same time. And I have this all being run by a Jackery 1000, and it was 96 total watts being used. All right, so let's take a look and see what this looks like. And that was our engrave. That's nice. Very clean. Obviously, that's a white engrave. We'll continue to play and get ourselves a black, but this looks pretty cool. We're going to run this one more time. We're going to increase the power, and we're going to make some changes. We're going to go 55 power and 80 depth. Let's see what we get with this one. We'll see how fast this guy engraves. Everything's going real time. Ooh, I think we got some fire going on there. That looks great. Wearing glasses, so we are okay. We are safe. This is going pretty fast. Put this on so you guys can see what that looks like when it's engraving with the IR. There we go. Still consuming 95 power. Actually went up to 105 power now. 105 power, or 105 watts being consumed right now on my generator. Still not bad. Again, running the smoke purifier as well as the laser. All right, let's see what we got now. A little bit warmer. Ho, 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 check that out, guys. No spray, no marking spray. That looks fantastic. So, you want to have a white look? Or would you like to have a dark look? No marking spray at all. Gotta love it. So guys, that was our first engrave on the Laser Pecker 5. Pretty cool, don't you think? More videos coming. See you in the next one.